Once upon a time, in the quiet village of Aniocha in Delta State, Nigeria, a love story was born, a story so profound that it captured the heart of all who witnessed it. Nedu, a young and handsome man, had fallen deeply in love with Nneka, a beautiful and kind-hearted girl whose presence alone felt like the sun breaking through the morning mist. Their love was pure, passionate and unwavering, built on trust, understanding, and an unspoken promise to be together forever. Every evening, they met by a serene river at the edge of the village, where the rustling leaves and the gentle flow of water became silent witnesses to their devotion. No day passed without them longing for each other, and every stolen moment together felt like a dream neither wanted to wake from. These beautiful lovers spoke of marriage, of raising children by the river where their love was born, and of growing old side by side. But their love, though strong, was not enough to shield them from the harsh realities of life. Nedu was a poor farmer, hard-working, but unable to match the wealth of the village's elite. He had once sought Nneka's hand in marriage, but her father, Mazi Okere, refused. His reason was not that Nedu was unworthy of his daughter's love, but because he owed a great debt to a wealthy and powerful man named Eke from the neighboring village of Umede. With no means to repay what he owed, Nneka's father, Mazi Okere, struck a cruel bargain. He would give his daughter's hand in marriage to Eke in exchange for clearing his debt. The day Nneka's parents, Mazi Okere, and his wife Ekunne informed Adaeze of the arranged marriage. At first, she was very happy, thinking it was between her and Nedu. But when she learned that it was between a strange man, her world shattered. She sobbed uncontrollably, pleading for mercy, but her cries fell on deaf ears. She was forbidden from seeing Nedu ever again. Meanwhile, Nedu, unaware of the storm brewing, waited by the river for her that evening, as he always did, but Nneka never came. The next day and the day after that, Nedu returned to their sacred place, his heart heavy with dread. When he finally learned the truth, it felt as though the air had been stolen from his lungs. His soul ached and his spirit was crushed. The next morning, Nedu ran back to Mazi Okere's house, begging him to reconsider, offering to work day and night to give everything he had, but it was futile. His love, though boundless, could not compete with the weight of a debt he could never repay. On Ore Market Day, towards the evening, as people were returning from the bustling market with baskets full and hearts light, they beheld a strange and sorrowful scene. Nneka, dressed in a traditional bridal attire, was being forcefully dragged by her new husband, Eke, to his home. Her cries echoed across the village, her hands trembling, her feet hesitant. The atmosphere turned tense as villagers stood in silence, some with horror etched on their faces, others with helpless sympathy. Eke, towering in fears, paid no attention to the stares and whispers. His grip on her wrists were so firm and unforgiving. Behind him walked his mother, a short woman in her early 70s, rejoicing and beaming with pride as if she had won a prize. On getting to her husband's house, Nneka's suffering began. Eke was a brutal man, and his mother even worse. Nneka was treated as nothing more than a slave. forced to work endlessly, subjected to cruelty beyond measure. Her husband never showed her kindness or even love. Instead, he controlled her with fear, his heavy hand striking down at any sign of resistance. The beatings became unbearable, and even when she became pregnant, the abuse did not stop. Eventually, she lost the child, her cries of pain swallowed by the cold walls of her imprisoned-like home. The worst was that her family was aware of her suffering but could do nothing. No one dared to stand against Eke, and so she endured alone and broken. One evening, Eke confronted Nedu in the marketplace, his voice thick with mockery.
"You were never man enough for her, you weakly,"
he sneered.
"She belongs to me now, and there's nothing you can do."
Nedu clenched his fist, swallowed the rage burning within him. He wanted to strike, to fight, to take back what was stolen from him. But he knew that even if he did, he had no power, no wealth, nothing that could free Nneka from the cage she was trapped in. Then fate took a turn. One day, as Eke climbed a tall palm tree to tap wine, not minding his height, the rope securing him snapped. He plummeted to the ground, his body crushed upon impact. Death claimed him instantly. Instead of grieving for his son, his mother, Ohanoma, blinded by rage and superstition, blamed Nneka for his death, making her life more unbearable. But Nneka, now a widow, saw a glimmer of hope. She could finally be free. Yet, even in death, Eke's presence haunted her. His mother declared that Nneka could not leave the house until full 5 years of mourning had passed. Trapped once again, she fell into despair. But love has a way of defying even the cruelest of fate. Nedu, unable to bear the thought of losing her forever, found a way to see her in secret. Under the cover of the night, he snugged into her room, and for the first time in years, they held each other's hands once more. Their love had never faded. In fact, the pain of separation has only deepened their longing. They whisper promises and dreams, vowing to run away together, to reclaim the life stolen from them. But destiny had one last cruelty to deliver. On the night they planned to escape, Nneka's mother-in-law, driven by hatred, visited a local herbalist. She begged for a poison, something silent, something deadly. The herbalist, though wary, but bound by his trade, handed her a vial. With wicked glee, she rushed home and poured it into Nneka's pot of soup, satisfied that her revenge will soon be complete. That evening, Nneka arrived home, feeling very excited and secretly packing her things for their planned escape. Minutes later, she began to feel hungry. She reached out to her pot of soup and started eating from it, unaware of the evil lurking in every bite. Soon, a strange uneasiness settled in her belly, followed by an agonizing, searing pain that spread like wildfire through her stomach. It felt as though 1,000 needles were stabbing her from within. Her inside twisted violently, and waves of excruciating cramps gripped her like a monstrous hand, squeezing the life from her. Her body convulsed, sweat pouring from her brows as her scream pierced through the night air. The agony was unbearable. She clenched her abdomen, writhing in death, her voice hoarse from crying out for help that never came. As she writhed, Nedu arrived. His heart stopped at the sight of his beloved suffering. He rushed to her side, holding her trembling body in his arms, whispering her name over and over again. But there was nothing he could do. Nneka gasped for air. Her fingers tightened around his, and with one final whisper of his name, Nedu, she was gone. The word blurred around Nedu. His love, his reason for living, has been ripped away in the cruelest way possible. He turned to see Ohanoma, Nneka's mother-in-law, laughing at the death of the woman he had sworn to love forever. Rage overtook him, and in a blind fury, he longed at her, his hands wrapping around her neck. He wanted her to suffer as Nneka had suffered. He wanted her to feel the life drained from her body as she had made Nneka feel. But then he let go. He staggered back, his grief greater than the fury. With hollow eyes, he turned away, knowing that vengeance would never bring back the love he had lost. Instead, he walked back into the room where Nneka lay. He knelt beside her, brushing a trembling hand over her cold cheek, his heart shattered beyond measure. Then, in a quiet resolve, he picked up the poisoned soup and ate it. Moments later, the same pain that had stolen Nneka's life overtook him. Yet he welcomed it. He embraced the agony, knowing it would soon reunite him with the only soul who had ever truly mattered to him. As his breath grew shallow, he reached for Nneka's hand, clasping it one last time. With his final breath, he whispered, "We will never be apart again. Ours is the Wedlock of the Gods." And so it happened. In death, Nedu and Nneka found the eternity they had been denied in life, a love so strong that even fate itself could not keep them apart.